secular, godless states of Europe, in which sovereignty is taken away from Allah and is now located in the state. And so the state is sovereign. And so the sovereign state of Turkey comes into being. Sovereignty is now located with the Turkish people. They are supreme. The sovereign state of Iran comes into being. Sovereignty is now located with the people of Iran. They are supreme. The sovereign state of Saudi Arabia comes into being. Sovereignty is now located with the state of Saudi Arabia. They are supreme. But there is a fly in the ointment. It is not Europe's intention, when bestowing the gifts of the modern state, the non-European humanity, that non-European humanity should take sovereignty from Allah and keep it for themselves, because ultimately Europe wants the sovereignty. And so Europe now has to have this year. Europe now has to create an international system which will bring all these so-called sovereign states of non-European humanity under European control. That's the world order that's coming into being. And they were doing it under the very nose of Iqbal. They couldn't get away with him. They're getting away with us. But they couldn't get away with Iqbal. No, not Iqbal. They brought into being something called the League of Nations. The only reason why they did not succeed with the League of Nations in achieving their objective was because the Jews had not as yet taken sufficient control over the United States of America. And so the United States stayed out of the League. But Europe created the League. And Iqbal had a nose with which he could smell a rat. Many of us have lost that capacity now. And so he saw the wickedness. He saw the imperialism. He saw the effort being waged through this international organization to control the rest of the world. He saw the ultimate goal, world government. And guess who will sit in the kursi of that world government? A gentleman named Dajjal. Iqbal minced no words. Iqbal declared that it was not the League of Nations. He called it, what did he call it? The League of? In English, lectures in English. He called it the League of Thieves. That was the word he used. We don't have the courage to use that kind of language today. I delivered a khutbah at the United Nations 2 months ago on this subject. And in between, I pushed in this little phrase from Iqbal. League of Thieves, he called it. Of course, the diplomats were very perturbed using that kind of language in the khutbah. It was an effort. Listen to the words. To enslave mankind. Enslave mankind. If you thought slavery was in the past, you just wait for tomorrow. They are pursuing an effort to enslave all mankind in a new sophisticated form of slavery. They operate by way of deception. They got a PhD in deception. The road to heaven And they'll make it look as though it is the road to hell. And the road to hell itself. And they'll make it look as though it is the road to heaven. You know how many Malaysian young men and young women must be furious now that Michael Jackson is not being allowed to have a concert in Kuala Lumpur? You know how the Tunisian youngsters must be delighted that Michael Jackson gave a concert in Tunisia? The road to hell is made to look like the road to heaven itself. Until the League of Nations collapsed because the U.S. stayed out of it. The League of Nations came into being after the First World War, and it was created by the victors of the First World War. It excluded the Ottoman Empire, because the Ottoman Empire was defeated in the First World War. It is an exclusively European club, the League of Nations. And now comes the Second World War. And at the end of the Second World War, they make a second attempt. But this time, the moment is right. The Jewish control over the United States of America has now blossomed. And so now the United States of America now enters, and the United Nations organization is created. The same purpose, the same methodology, and it's still the same League of Peace. It creates organs, this United Nations organization. Amongst its organs, the supreme one is the Security Council. The Charter of the United Nations Organization is a document which should be put into every Darul Ulum. And our students studying Islam in the Darul Ulum, to get a chance to read and study that document, to be familiar with that document, the Charter of the UN. Do you know what Articles 24 and 25 say? In effect, they say Allah is no longer Al-Akbar. The Security Council is Al-Akbar. In effect. Because the Security Council has absolute authority in all matters pertaining to international peace and security. And all member states of the United Nations are under a binding contractual obligation to submit to the authority of the Security Council. More than that, you must assist the Security Council. You must place your armed forces at the disposal of the Security Council. You must place your territory at the disposal of the Security Council. Number one, there's a conflict here between obligation under the Sharia and obligations under the Charter. That's the polite way of putting it. Number two, this is shirk. If the Security Council is recognized as the sovereign, possessing absolute sovereignty, forget about the sovereignty of the state. It's gone. Now they are sovereign, and Allah is no longer sovereign. This is the shirk that he said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, it will be so difficult to recognize. It will be like a black ant hiding underneath a black stone on a dark night. In the Security Council, Europe sits. Only Europe. They control the Security Council. They are the permanent members of the Security Council. The rest, kabhi kile kursi milte hai. They are the permanent members. The United States of America, Britain,